Tonight, we're ripping the laugh track off America's favorite sitcoms. These stars made us feel safe, made us laugh, while hiding the one truth that could have ended everything. Some were pressured, some were threatened, some were timed like a scandal waiting to drop. This isn't gossip. This is the price of family-friendly fame. Stay to the end, because the last two names prove the darkest closets were hiding in the brightest living rooms. Rebel Wilson, The 48-Hour Ultimatum. Laugh tracks love a punchline. Tabloids love a target. For years, Rebel Wilson kept one part of her life off camera, quiet, protected, normal. Not because she was ashamed, but because Hollywood trains women to treat love like a liability. Then came the message that changed the tone of the room. A Sydney Morning Herald columnist later admitted he'd given Rebel 2 days to respond before he published a story about her relationship. 2 days. Like queerness was a confession with a deadline. Imagine that pressure, your phone buzzing, your team asking, "Do we comment?" Because silence can be twisted into guilt, and honesty can be twisted into scandal. The old playbook was simple. Publish first, control the narrative, let the internet do the rest. So Rebel did the one thing the old system can't survive. She stole the headline back. In minutes, she posted a photo with Ramona Agruma and wrote the line that hit like a flare in the dark. She thought she needed a Disney prince, but maybe she needed a Disney princess. What was meant to be a gotcha became a global celebration and a global argument about ethics. And the backlash was loud. The paper faced heavy criticism, the columnist apologized, and the outlet removed the column because people recognized the tactic for what it looked like, outing as entertainment. But here's the tragedy silent fame can't ignore. Joy doesn't erase the fear that came before it. The threat isn't always a stranger at your door. It's the career tax, the whisper campaign, the brand deals that quietly disappear. The lesson the closet teaches: stay lovable, stay marketable, stay silent. Rebel wasn't just coming out. She was outrunning a countdown, and if they can put a superstar on a timer, what do they do to everyone without a publicist? So tell me, was this a victory? Or proof the press still thinks it owns people's identities? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want more unscripted truths behind the laugh track, hit subscribe and join Silent Fame. Lily Tomlin. Time wanted a confession, not a comedian. Before rainbow branding and ally became a marketing strategy, there was Lily Tomlin, standing at the edge of a career that could explode or evaporate. In 1975, Time magazine dangled a deal that sounds glamorous until you hear the fine print. They would put Lily on the cover if she came out. Not for her craft, not for her characters, for the headline. Lily later said it would have been suicidal for her career at that point. So she refused to play their game. That's the glass closet era. You can be adored as long as you stay usable. The industry didn't need proof she was brilliant. America already laughed. What they wanted was the label, the box, the spectacle. Because once they brand you the gay comedian, they don't have to let you be anything else. On Grace and Frankie, she later became a new kind of icon. Older, fearless, and still hilarious. But it hits differently when you realize how long she lived under the industry's warning label. Be brilliant, just don't be that kind of brilliant. Lily has said she refused because she didn't want to be typed as the gay celebrity, with the label eclipsing the work. So Lily did something quietly radical. She protected her love like it was sacred. She stayed with writer Jane Wagner for decades, building a life the cameras weren't allowed to monetize. And that choice has its own kind of heartbreak. Living in a world where telling the truth could cost you the work you bled for, where every interview feels like walking through a minefield of "are you?" questions. Then comes the silent fame turn. She didn't come out for a cover. She waited for a world where her relationship wouldn't erase her artistry. Years later, Lily and Jane married on their terms, not as a confession, not as a product. Here's the debate. Was Lily too quiet? Or was she the smartest person in the room for refusing token fame? Did silence protect her? Or did it steal years of breath? Comment below and subscribe to Silent Fame, because we don't chase gossip here, we expose the machines that tried to manufacture it. Sean Hayes. They laughed at Jack and threatened the man. On Will and Grace, Sean Hayes played Jack McFarlane like a firework, loud, fearless, impossible to ignore. But behind that confidence was a different reality. A man watching the culture and thinking, if I say it out loud, will they take my whole life away? Because while America was laughing, the climate was still cruel. Hayes has said that during those years, it was a scary time. He's talked about death threats and the fear that people could find out where he lived while he was playing one of the most visible gay characters on television. That's the sick paradox of sitcom fame. The audience applauds the character, but some of them punish the human being who matches him. So Hayes did what a lot of actors did back then. He drew a hard line with the press. Even that choice got weaponized. Some accused him of hiding, others demanded he confirm what they already assumed. Either way, the pressure was the same. Your story belongs to us. Then 2010 happened. Hayes stepped into a Broadway revival as a straight romantic lead, and Newsweek dropped a grenade. In an article titled "Straight Jacket," writer Ramin Satude argued that openly gay actors couldn't convincingly play straight roles, and singled out Hayes, calling his performance wooden and insincere, like he was trying to hide something. The message was crystal: come out and you lose range. But here's the silent fame turn. The article backfired. The controversy became bigger than the review itself because it exposed the double standard. Straight actors get praised for playing gay, but gay actors get punished for playing straight. Instead of shrinking, Hayes kept working, kept producing, and kept proving that talent doesn't change because a secret stops being a secret. So tell me, was the real straight jacket the role, or the industry's fear of a gay man being too believable? Comment your hottest take. And if you're here for the truth behind the applause, hit subscribe. Silent Fame drops the stories Hollywood tried to edit out. 4. Sara Gilbert, the perfect couple that broke her. On Roseanne, America watched Sara Gilbert fall in love with Johnny Galecki's David like it was a teenage fairy tale. Awkward, tender, inevitable. Off camera, the fantasy got dangerous because Sara and Johnny dated in real life, and she was trying to make a script fit a truth she didn't have words for yet. Here's the part people don't expect. She said that when they started making out, she got depressed. Not confused, not unsure, depressed. Imagine being a young actor on a massive sitcom, living inside the safest-looking American living room, and realizing your own body is screaming that the story everyone loves might be a lie for you. That's the quiet tragedy of the closet. It doesn't always look like secrecy. Sometimes it looks like you doing everything right and still feeling wrong. Smiling on set, then going home with a heaviness you can't explain, terrified that saying the truth out loud will turn your future into a rumor. And then, silent fame turned. She told Johnny. She expected fallout. She expected anger. Instead, he gave her something rarer than a love scene: protection. Years later, when she wanted to share the story publicly, she called him first. His response was basically, I love you. I'm proud of you. And if you want, I'll be there and I'll hold your hand. Now zoom out, because sitcoms sell stability. And for a long time, the price of stability was pretending you never cracked. Sara didn't just survive, she evolved. She became an executive producer on The Conners. And when the franchise finally said goodbye, it ended on April 23, 2025, closing a chapter that had followed her since 1988. So here's the question that stings. After everything she carried in silence, the dread, the doubt, the don't let them find out instinct, doesn't she deserve happiness without having to audition for it? Tell me in the comments, was Sara protecting herself? Or was the industry protecting its image at her expense? And if you want more hidden chapters behind TV's happiest rooms, subscribe to Silent Fame. 5. David Hyde Pierce, outed by a single sentence. Niles Crane was controlled chaos. The refined brother, the nervous laugh, the straight romantic longing that made Frasier feel safe for middle America. And that's the irony. David Hyde Pierce built a career inside the politest corner of sitcom fame, where everything is tasteful, including the lies people expect you to keep. He wasn't living a scandal. He was living a boundary. Private means private. For years, he did what the industry quietly rewards. No headlines, no statement, no convenient label for strangers to consume. Then the glass closet shattered in the least dramatic way possible. In May 2007, an Associated Press interview about his career casually mentioned his partner, writer-producer Brian Hargrove. One sentence. That's all it took. Not a confession, not a cover story, just a reporter treating his real life like an ordinary fact. And suddenly, private became public, whether he wanted it or not. That's the Silent Fame tragedy. Even quiet men don't get quiet exits. A single line becomes 1,000 conversations. Agents whispering about marketability, fans rewinding scenes to hunt for signs, strangers acting like they're owed a verdict. David didn't explode. He didn't deny. A publicist confirmed he was gay and in a long-term relationship, and he kept moving. Work first, dignity intact. But don't mistake calm for ease. When you spend decades rehearsing how to dodge questions, that reflex doesn't vanish overnight. You learn to love in the shadows, even when you've already built something real. Pierce and Hargrove met in 1982, and they eventually married on October 24, 2008, just days before Proposition 8 temporarily slammed the door on same-sex marriage in California. So ask yourself, after a lifetime of being everyone's favorite brother, didn't he deserve to be someone's husband without the world turning it into a headline? Comment your take. Was David's silence a shield? Or did it feed the machine? And subscribe to Silent Fame, because the loudest scandals aren't always the ones with screaming headlines. 6. Niecy Nash-Betts, the plot twist that broke the internet. For years, Niecy Nash was the face of a certain promise. Confident, glamorous comedy energy. She played tough, flirty, fearless women, and the world filed her neatly into a box that felt familiar. And then she shattered the box with one photo. August 2020, Niecy posts her wedding picture with singer Jessica Betts. No rollout, no exclusive, no warning shot. Just a dress, a smile, and the caption that hit like a slap and a kiss at the same time. Plot twist. That's the Silent Fame turn, because it wasn't just a surprise. It was a takeover. She didn't let tabloids frame it as scandal. She framed it as destiny. Behind the scenes, the ceremony was tiny, about 24 people, and friend Coleman Domingo officiated in a loud black and yellow suit she later joked made him look like a beautiful bumblebee. Even the wedding had a punchline, because that's how she survives pressure, with humor. But don't mistake the glow for a painless journey. Before that moment, Niecy had already lived through public endings. 2 marriages to men, and a divorce that came with a statement about the beauty of truth and choosing friendship over partnership. That's heartbreak in grown-up language, smiling for the cameras while your private life is collapsing. So when the internet demanded labels, Niecy refused the script again. She said her marriage had absolutely nothing to do with gender, pushing back against the idea that loving a woman must erase every love that came before. And here's the controversy that fuels the comments. People love a coming out story until it doesn't look the way they expect. Some cheered, others accused her of being confused or late, like there's a deadline on self-discovery, and reinvention always has a price. So tell me, doesn't she deserve a love that feels like breath? Drop your hottest take below. Is plot twist empowerment? Or did it expose how badly society polices who gets to change? And subscribe to Silent Fame, because the funniest stories are often hiding the sharpest truths. 7. Harvey Guillén. 3 strikes before he even spoke. Shorter. On paper, Harvey Guillén was never supposed to make it in Hollywood. Not because he lacked talent, because the industry keeps a silent checklist. He's talked about growing up feeling like he had 3 strikes before he even walked into the room. Queer, Latino, plus size. That's not insecurity. That's a system training you to apologize for your own body, your own voice, your own existence. Then he lands in a sitcom universe disguised as a vampire comedy, What We Do in the Shadows. At first, Guillermo is the joke, the familiar, the helper, the guy who cleans up everyone else's mess. And that's the trap. Underdogs are only lovable as long as they stay small. But here's the Silent Fame twist. Over time, Guillermo becomes the emotional spine of the show, the character who actually changes, bleeds, learns, and dares to want more than scraps. For a lot of fans, the story quietly became his, and the ending sparked debate because people felt he'd earned something bigger. Now imagine what that visibility costs in real life. When you're queer and openly yourself, the tax shows up fast. Gatekeeping, nasty comments, strangers debating your worth like it's a public vote. The same audience that cheers your character can turn around and demand you fit their idea of what a leading man should look like. So here's the question that should light up the comments. Did Harvey and Guillermo deserve a happy ending? Or is Hollywood still most comfortable when queer joy stays in the shadows? Drop your take below. And if you want the hidden stories behind the punchlines, subscribe to Silent Fame. 8. Jerrod Carmichael. He came out and everything broke. Shorter. Jerrod Carmichael didn't announce his truth. He detonated it. In his HBO special Rothaniel, he came out as gay on stage, raw, direct, and painfully human, after years of protecting an image that kept him safe and employable. The tragedy isn't just that he was closeted, it's what the closet does to your brain. Turning every laugh into performance, every applause into proof you're still not fully seen. And then came the part that hurts the most. Family fallout. Jerrod has described how coming out didn't bring instant relief. It cracked open old beliefs, old fear, old control. When the people you love treat your truth like a threat, it doesn't feel like difference. It feels like exile. So Jerrod made the most controversial move possible. He filmed the aftermath. The Jerrod Carmichael reality show put cameras inside the mess, dating, therapy, shame, intimacy, family tension, like he was trying to make honesty permanent. Some people call it brave. Others call it self-destruction with a premium subscription. And that's where the debate lives. Are we watching someone heal? Or watching pain get turned into content because pain sells? Then he doubles down with a special title, Don't Be Gay, a phrase that sounds like a joke until you realize it's a childhood rule, a wound, and a dare all at once. So answer this honestly. Does Jerrod deserve happiness like everyone else? Or do we reward suffering because it keeps us entertained? Tell me in the comments, and if you want more stories where the laugh track can't hide the truth, subscribe to Silent Fame. 9. Robert Reed, America's Dad and the Life He Wasn't Allowed to Live. To millions, Robert Reed wasn't an actor. He was a promise. Mike Brady, the calm father who could fix anything in 30 minutes. But off that set, the sitcom's smile was a mask he wore like armor. Co-stars later said Reed was often unhappy, and Florence Henderson believed a lot of his anger and frustration came from being forced to live this double life. That's the cruelty of the era. Play the safest dad in America, while knowing one honest sentence could cost your career, your home, your safety. The most heartbreaking part? People around him weren't blind. Years after his death, Brady castmates publicly acknowledged his sexuality, and that the crew largely knew. Yet everyone kept the illusion intact, because the industry demanded family-friendly more than it demanded truth. And here's the silent fame detail people forget. Reed still protected the kids. Henderson recalled that whatever tension existed, he shielded the child actors from it, even taking them to England because he wanted them exposed to culture and Shakespeare. Fatherhood, given away in public, and practiced quietly in private. Then the final act came with a silence that feels like suffocation. Reed died on May 12, 1992. Publicly, it was explained as cancer, but his death certificate later revealed he was HIV positive, with HIV listed among significant conditions contributing to his death. The truth didn't arrive as a confession. It arrived as paperwork after the curtain fell. So here's the question that should sting. Did Robert Reed deserve to be remembered as America's perfect father, if the price was never being allowed to be himself? Or flip it. Did we, the audience, deserve that comforting fantasy if it required someone else's real life to disappear? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want more stories Hollywood tried to keep family-friendly, subscribe to Silent Fame. 10. Paul Lynde, the center square who couldn't say the word. If you grew up on classic TV, Paul Lynde wasn't just funny. He was electricity. Uncle Arthur on Bewitched. The Hollywood Square center square who could turn one innocent question into a line that made adults gasp and kids laugh without knowing why. But the punchline had a cost. Entertainment Weekly describes how being gay was the secret of Lynde's success, even if it was only a half secret. He hid in plain sight, reveling in camp while staying officially unspoken. He feared that if audiences truly saw him, it could end his career, because his following was mostly straight, and the era punished men who made it too real. Fame didn't save him from loneliness. EW notes he drifted through relationships, sometimes with paid escorts, and he ached to be taken seriously as an actor. Yet the industry kept him boxed in as the funny uncle, never the leading man. He even quit squares for a moment, waiting for Hollywood to finally call, and nobody did. So he went back to the box, and then comes the line that exposes the horror behind the laugh track. On The Tonight Show, asked why he didn't talk about himself, Lynde admitted, "I'm absolutely scared of coming out and being myself." In 1982, he died alone in his bed of a heart attack at 55. A room full of laughter and the quietest ending imaginable. Even after his death, rumors tried to rewrite the scene, stories that someone had been there and fled. But accounts cited later indicated he had activated his alarm as usual, and evidence suggested he was alone when he died. The world wanted a scandal. What it got was a tragedy. So tell me, was Paul Lynde brave for surviving in the only way the system allowed? Or was he robbed of a life that should have been his by right? Comment what you think he deserved. And subscribe to Silent Fame, because the loudest laughs often hide the deepest silences. If these stories hit you, don't scroll. Speak. Who deserved happiness the most, and who was robbed by the era they lived in? Was silent survival or a slow tragedy? Drop your honest take in the comments, respectful, but real. And if you want more hidden chapters behind Hollywood's biggest smiles, subscribe to Silent Fame. Because behind every joke, there's a truth someone paid for.